Three, two, one. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Pixel Venture Podcast. I'm sick.
And I'm pissed.
Why?
So, we're recording on Tuesday.
And this is technically, hey Jake, I'm going to take your thunder for a second. This is the Spooky Halloween special. That's a couple days late. But it's
Blizzcon is on Friday,
yeah.
November 1st. So that makes it, let's see, like 3 days from now?
Yeah.
I got fucking spoiled, dude.
You're not going to say a spoiler on the podcast.
I'm not going to say it.
You're not going to.
I'm not going to say what it is. But, you know what? What I will say is it was a screenshot. And normally I'm skeptical of these things. Because some of them, they can easily be faked. Some of them...
Yeah, and a lot of them are obviously fake.
They'll contradict, like, the things we already know. But not this one. This one fucking spoiled one of the things that they would have announced that would have been completely new and fresh. You know, it's not about Overwatch 2. We've known about that for a while, and I can talk about that later.
Yeah.
It's not about Diablo 4, something that we know has been in the works, and disappointed people when they turned out that last year they announced a mobile game instead. Like, we already know about Diablo 4. It's 3 fucking days. Why are people announcing it's 3 days. Like, it's one thing if it was like, it would be one thing if it was like a month in advance. Like, whatever, it could have been forgotten about, people could have like called it, like, called their bluff, like whatever. No, it's literally right before. Like, that's the thing that annoys me. It's right before, and I'm particularly picky about spoilers.
Literally, that's why I avoid all community boards. I avoid, like, anything that has to do with whatever conference or, like, announcements that could happen. Like, did you see, I know you don't really follow Nintendo as closely as I do, but there was the quote-unquote leak for the new Direct, and people are saying it's the most ridiculous thing because it announced, like certain games that have no other confirmation outside of, like, that claim. And people are like, that's obviously bullshit. Well, I'm still not looking at it because it's like, I don't enjoy having that first reaction being taken away.
You wanna know where I've seen this screenshot from, like, my from, like, me personally?
Where?
I've seen it used in the headers of articles. I've seen it as images being posted on Reddit. I see it in all of my recommended, because I follow World of Warcraft content creators, so they're obviously using it all the time.
That's
so I see it literally everywhere, and it's like, just wait 3 fucking days. Like,
that's actually, like, the Danganronpa games that Ryan got me into. The reason I stopped playing them is literally I had, like, the biggest twist in the second game spoiled because of a YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
And, like, I had the twist for, like, the third game, like, the big twist that happens early on. Like, I had that spoiled from a YouTube thumbnail, too. Like, I understand people want to make, like, some flashy-looking thumbnails. They want to make something that, like, pops out. But the thing is that if you're putting up, like, an obvious spoiler, what the fuck? Like,
Like, again, I won't say what it is, but to give you an idea of, like, the scale of how shitty it is, you remember how, 2 years ago, they released the, Reinhardt Honor and Glory cinematic at Blizzard? Imagine if, like, 3 days before that, someone posted a screenshot of, like, Reinhardt when he's at the bar, looking at, like, the insignia. Like, you obviously know, like, what it is, and like the fidelity of that image is too high to say like, oh, someone probably faked it. It's like, you know that it's coming, and it completely gets rid of like all the shock of like, oh yeah, the voice actor's up there because he's gonna introduce the cinematic. Like, it completely gets rid of all of that because someone's like, you know, exploding about like the image they found like right before the event.
Yeah, and that's like, it's stupid. Like, I understand that there's people who are like super hyped about these games and they want to like, you know, share that hype with other people, where it's like, oh, I found this thing, it's a screenshot for a game that could be happening and it looks really cool, and then just seeing the excitement that builds around that. But again, like you said, it's 3 days.
Yeah. Like I know I am particularly picky about spoilers, and I'll consider like a lot of things spoilers. Just because I personally like going into things without knowing a lot. Like, I might look at, for like a movie or something, I might look at the trailers, but I won't look at any kind of like analysis or like explanation. I'll just be like, oh, if it looks interesting, I'll see it.
Oh,
like, I don't want to know more.
Yeah, literally though, like, you do something more than I do. I avoid trailers.
Like, I hear
I literally
people
go in
do
as
that.
fresh as I can. Like, the last thing that I want is any preconceived notions with stuff, because then, one, I usually tend to enjoy things a little bit more, and I'm able to be a bit more critical with analysis.
Like, I know that there's a fair amount of people who do that as well, but like, I like to at least know what I'm getting into, so that I'm not just like looking at it blind. Like, I'm looking at what the creators of, in this case a film, what the creators of the film want me to approach it with. Like, they're revealing what they want to reveal, and it like, it's no deeper than that.
Yeah, I guess I understand that. My big thing is that it's like, I found films a lot more enjoyable by not having that preconceived, like, you know, 1 minute review that you find on YouTube where it was just like, this movie sucks and I didn't like it, and then you go in with that mindset of like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, those I avoid like the plague before
Oh
watching
god,
something.
yeah.
Like, when it's something that the director himself like approved and is like, yes, this is how I want people to like approach it, I'm like, okay, and if they like, you know, did a good job, I'll see it. If I think the trailer's trash, then I won't even bother like watching it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, why am I forgetting the name? Jordan Peele. Like, he has released, like, really good sort of analysis videos of Us. And, God, why am I forgetting the other movie that he did?
Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out. Like, he's released, like, these videos with, like, different publications, different people that are, like, very deep, very, like, intuitive kind of, like, analysis of the work. And that is very enjoyable to watch because, one, you get to hear like how he feels about fan theories and things like that, and then you also get that angle of like how he approached it himself and what he was hoping for people to take from it.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was with like Wired or something, he did a reaction to fan theories for Get Out, and yeah, he approached it like so casually. Like, someone commented like, oh, like, if you listen to the tune that the guy plays on the fiddle or whatever, it's like,
oh, it was song. Yeah, and it was just like, nah, he just kind of hit notes.
Fiddle, and I gave the guy a fiddle and he just kind of played it. Like, I don't know, guys. Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, I didn't give him any specific instruction. He just kind of did it.
Yeah.
Also, you can continue saying something intelligent. I just noticed there's a big ass spider that's like right on my desk, so I'm gonna try to deal with it. Just give me a moment. All right. And you keep talking about something intelligent.
So yeah, I hate spoilers of like, to every degree. Like, I don't want to know the actors that are gonna be in it. I don't want to know the characters that are gonna be in it. I don't want to know anything, because I feel like, to me, a spoiler
Where'd it go?
is
oh no
anything where It's hard to think with Korey screaming, but
Hey, I might need to relocate. I don't know where the spider went.
it's okay. I can keep rambling.
Oh my god. Okay. Give me like a. Wait, there it is. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna quickly. No, keep talking. I can hear you this time.
So I think a spoiler is any kind of information where knowing of
got
it ruins the emotional surprise that you have in the moment of watching the media that was spoiled. Where, like, if you learn something and your reaction is dampened by knowing that spoiler, then it's a spoiler. If it's something just kind of like a neat little thing, like, you know, like how it was made, or like, you know, things like that, that's fine. But if it's something that actually takes away from the initial moment of watching something, then it's a spoiler.
Yeah, that's like I'm like, see, because we're talking about spoilers. I want to talk about like a time in the past that I got spoiled, but that also would kind of, you know, defeat the purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I will say this. Spoilers are void once something has been out for my thing is 3 months, being generous. 3 months I'll check if someone has like seen something, and you know, if it's in that 3-month period and they haven't seen it, then I'll be quiet about it. If it's after that, I'll be like, you had your chance.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's like, what was the thing that the Russo brothers did for Endgame? Where they said it was like a 3-week grace period, and where like they don't want anyone to post anything online, and they open the floodgates.
Yeah.
I respect that, and I also respect how a lot of people actually listened. Because like
for 3 months, keep it into like the fan bases.
Yeah.
But then like after that, like you can do whatever you want in public.
Exactly. Oh, I was in the middle of yawning.
Speaking of spoilers, I was on Reddit being spoiled. But before that, and decided to quit cold turkey for a while, I read a post on the Overwatch subreddit. And interestingly, it didn't even have too much to do with Overwatch. It was an image of a Twitter post that said Overwatch 2, it basically said Overwatch 2 sounds pretty cool, but remember, this is the company that banned someone for saying liberate Hong Kong. And then everyone in the comments either agreed with him or said Blizzard bad. Some of the comments I remember were about, why would they make an Overwatch 2? Cash grab, or, oh, this is just a cover-up of the Hong Kong thing. Not like they've been planning Overwatch 2 for, months at least, and we've known about it for months at least.
See, like, I'm still confused about why Overwatch 2 is necessary.
Though that's what other people said.
Well, cause like think about it like this, like the way that they built Overwatch was supposed to be like, you know, procedurally updated, kind of like Warcraft, but it is that one-time purchase kind of thing. Unless you like, you know, you buy loot boxes and stuff like that, but that's a different thing. I understand if they want to like, you know, have a more powerful engine or something like that. Or I know they wanted to do story mode type things. Maybe that's what Overwatch 2 will be focused on, like story mode rather than multiplayer, and the base game will be that multiplayer experience. But like, it's just kind of confusing to me because I know, like, with the idea of like Overwatch 2, what that says to me is that now Overwatch has a shorter time limit than I thought as far as like its lifetime with the servers. Because if they approach it the way that like other companies have approached shooters before, the moment that the new game comes out, the older game servers are close to dead, or they immediately get cut off.
Now, do you want to know why they're making Overwatch 2?
I mean, my assumption is to capitalize on success of it.
Now, some of this is based off of information that was leaked by a former Blizzard employee, so you can trust it as much as you want or as little as you want. Even I'm a little bit skeptical because pretty much anyone can say that, especially when like there are a ton of people who work at Blizzard who were laid off and stuff, like whatever. But the theory goes, mostly off of that but other like context clues, it's known that Blizzard was working on a StarCraft game that was going to be a first-person shooter. That much is pretty much known.
Yeah,
like, guaranteed.
They've been trying to do that for like a while, because Ghost was a thing.
Yeah, it was, but they recently scrapped the most recent attempt at that. And according to this supposed Blizzard employee, they scrapped it because they saw what they were going with the StarCraft first-person shooter and realized that it was really similar to Overwatch. Now, that's why they scrapped it and they're making it into Overwatch 2. But based on what we know of the development from that interview, is it was a lot of like single-player campaign stuff with like co-op content as well. So what they're probably going to do with Overwatch 2 is make it either a single-player campaign, which people have asked for in the past. Like, that's not... Like, some people even said, like, on Reddit, like, oh, like, who would even want, like, a single-player game? Like, that's dumb. Like, you know, they don't even have enough content for, like, the first Overwatch. But people have actually been asking for single-player, like, story stuff. Like, people have been asking for story.
I've always wanted to, like, be able to play, like, lore missions of all the characters, or, like, follow... Like, you know what I hope the Overwatch 2 will be? I hope it'll literally be like a story mode where you can follow either Blackwatch or Overwatch and like go through the rise and fall.
Exactly.
Like,
or even like
really
they could go in depth with Lucio and Symmetra, because even they have like a history that no one ever like touches on. Or
because Lucio stole their technology.
Stole their technology. There's a lot of stuff in like the comics that don't get touched at all in the game. Like the way that the Vishgar Corporation that Symmetra's part of is like abusing the people, and I want to say like Rio de Janeiro, they're like abusing them as a workforce.
And they're also abusing her and taking advantage of the fact that she does have autism.
Yeah. Like, there's a ton of stuff with, like, Zarya that's not known, Zarya and Sombra. There's, like, a lot of the stuff in the background of Talon. There's Echo from the McCree cinematic. And, like, this is all story stuff we're talking about, but we're not even talking about how, if they had co-op, you could literally, like, play with your friends as, like, a team from Overwatch or Blackwatch or Talon, like, all together. And in this unique... I don't know why I said unique, but in this different format of, like, PvE content, you don't have to worry about balancing. You just have to worry about what's fun to play as.
And honestly, that's, like... I feel like that's an easier approach for Blizzard.
Like, imagine having, like, a mission in, like, South Korea where you're playing as D.Va and her other mech pilot friends, and you're all in just, like, these badass mechs flying around infinitely as opposed to, like, a short timer.
That would be pretty cool. Again, though, like, it's important, like, while getting caught up in hype, to also not have your expectations super high, because that's when, like, if it doesn't turn out that's a mission like that's going to be in the new game, I'm going to be a little disappointed, because it's like, you play up the ideas of having, like, these certain experiences with the characters in your head. Hell, maybe it turns out we don't play with any of the characters that we have in the main roster. Maybe it's a new group that comes in that we don't know about. Maybe we get to play as some of the concept art heroes that were in that initial artwork for Overwatch.
That's true. And even that, like, I wouldn't be too opposed to, but I don't think my interpretation is any more positive than other people's criticism is negative. So, like, they're both, like, different ends of a spectrum. They're making wild assumptions based off of what little they know. And I'm speaking for myself, like, with that as well. Yeah. I'm not just saying other people are stupid, I'm saying I don't know anything either, but, like, I as a Blizzard fanboy like to think that there's some hope that, like, and the thing is, like, it's kind of off topic from, like, where I was rambling, but, like, people call it Overwatch 2, but we don't actually know what it would be called. It could be Overwatch 2, it could be Overwatch with, like, you know, a subtitled name.
Yeah,
it could
Overwatch
just be
story mode.
Or it could just be, like, its own unique name, kind of like how, like, you know, it's not called Warcraft Hearthstone, it's Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft, like, underneath. Like, it could be something completely different.
Yeah, for all that we know, it could literally just be like, Shooty Friends Go WoW, an Overwatch story. I don't know.
For all we know, it's going to be called Titan.
Dude, that'd actually be kind of cool.
Like, it could be Tales of the Titans, and that would be it.
I'm actually down for that.
I hope your expectations aren't ruined when it's not called that.
Yeah, it's going to be called fucking Diablo 5 Shooty Magoo.
Overwatch Immortal.
You guys got smartphones, right? What if it just turns out this is an Overwatch app and everyone's just getting hyped over another mobile game?
Oh my god.
Dude, like, I can't wait till the beginning of BlizzCon where, like, it'll look into the crowd for, like, their reactions and you just see all the free Hong Kong posters.
All the free Hong Kong posters being held up by Winnie the Poohs.
Oh my god. They just... It's going to be fun. Although, I didn't buy the digital pass. I know I still have time to. I don't know if I will, because I really don't know if I have time on Friday.
I will say with the digital pass, not only can you, like, watch stuff at the event, but you'll also get, like, the archives of all of the like, videos taken at BlizzCon, so you can watch them whenever.
Oh, that actually would be really nice.
I will say, most of the good parts will be, like, up on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
But you still, like, get that option, especially, like, exclusive stuff that, like, people might not care about, like behind-the-scenes art kind of stuff.
I mean, like, I care about, like, one of my favorite panels that we watched, like, you and I actually got to watch in person together, back when we went over to Ryan's to watch it with him.
Yeah.
Do you remember the animation panel where they talked about how they did the cinematics for Overwatch?
With Reaper going under the floor?
It's still my favorite clip from any convention. Because it's just like, so here's just like the general outline of how things go. You just see the model of Reaper do a hardcore just face plant on the ground and slide for a little bit.
And then he does, like, the David Hasselhoff from, like, SpongeBob just surfing through the ground.
Yeah, and then after that, there's the whole thing where, like, in order to represent, like, you know, the nanobites, like, flying around, they just use the model of Reaper, so you just see a Reaper doing a T-pose flying around an untextured gorilla. And it's so good.
I remember two things from that. I remember, what was it, the Halloween Anna skin?
I was hoping you'd remember
just
that.
Fucking screamed for like for like half a second, just like this huge, like, loud scream, just.
So, literally, so they were going through this whole thing about, like, the first year of Overwatch, and they were going through a bunch of different skins and things like that. And I was like, I want to do something funny to, like, you know, get people's attention. And so I got to the Halloween stuff, and the final clip is of there's an Ana skin. She's a support sniper in the game. The skin gives her a pumpkin mask, I almost said Pokemon mask. Wow.
It's like
good
a
job, Korey.
jack-o'-lantern mask.
Yeah, it's like a
Where it's got,
jack-o'-lantern
like, the
mask.
cutout stuff.
Yeah, and she's orange or whatever. And it's like not a scary skin at all. It's actually like, I mean, among like the Halloween designs, I'm going to say pretty bland. But like, for some reason, I just felt compelled to scream. So when she leaned over and did the shh animation that she has for victory pose, I just let out a blood-curdling scream for like half a second. And I remember you went wide-eyed, and Ryan just goes like immediately after, he just goes, "What the fuck?" And everyone just starts laughing.
This huge fucking scream out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it was a perfect opportunity too, because Ryan was bending over to grab another slice of pizza.
No, I remember that. And like later into the night, we wanted to get like pizza for like dinner or whatever, or like go out and get like something to eat and bring it back.
Yeah.
But
you end up going to Najee's, right?
You guys went to Najee's. I didn't end up going with you because the What's Next in World of Warcraft panel was coming up and I wanted to watch it.
Oh yeah.
So I stayed at Ryan's house. I think I like talked to his dad a little bit when he like walked in or something. And like you guys came back and I'm like, yeah, I made the right decision. Yeah, so excited for Warlords of Draenor, the worst expansion. Anyway.
Well, see, the thing is that those panels build up hype. That's literally the entirety of like any video game convention, is to build up hype behind games.
I could go on with the failures of Warlords of Draenor for like an entire podcast, and we're halfway done.
I mean, you could at least touch upon one thing you don't like.
They made a lot of promises they didn't deliver. Next.
So Peter Molyneux.
Even worse.
Oh God. Like,
let's see.
Okay, can we talk about that for a bit? Fucking Peter Molyneux. Like, I don't want to sound like fucking Guru Larry and like bash on him for like half a video, but like, he is the master of making promises that no one can keep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the launch video for the Kinect that he made? Where it like touted itself as him building this artificial intelligence that can carry full conversations with you, looks like a little boy, will remember key conversations that you had before and ask you about them when you talk, and have a function where you can write or draw things on a piece of paper, then hold it up to the Kinect camera, have him then receive the paper in the video, like the video game, and comment on it. Like, he has fantastic ideas, real shit execution. Because, like, he was looking at that console thinking that it would be, like, the absolute future. Meanwhile, you get games like Kinect Racing where you don't even need to turn or steer or use any items and you will win. Literally, one of my favorite videos I've found on YouTube is someone doing a quote-unquote speedrun of the game where they're just sitting in place with their hands out so that it senses it so he can go. But he doesn't turn, he doesn't do anything, and he always wins.
You want to know what was...
amazing.
You want to know, like, a quick summary of what was wrong with the Warlords of Draenor expansion?
Yeah.
So, normally, what happens is you release the game at launch, right? And then it'll like slowly get patches that add more and more content to it until you get to like, you know, the end of the expansion. You have like end game stuff to play, right?
Yeah.
You want to know what one of the major like big name content patches added as
what?
Like their big thing that they promoted?
What was that?
A selfie camera. You want to know what kind of end game content they released for the game, like in like the middle of the expansion's life, which is like 2 years, so like, you know, 12 to 9 months of like content to do. You want to know like what their big end game content thing was?
What?
Hey, so let's move on to Legion, guys. We're done.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Literally, they just throw down Legion?
There was like a raid people were done in like a couple months. But yeah, that you ran the same raid over and over out of like 3.
Oh my god.
There were like 3 raids.
Like, dude, I just damn. And then Legion was after, right?
Yeah, then they announced Legion, which is like one of the, if not like the best expansion.
Honestly, what if they did it like, what if they like calculated that to be like, let's release a mediocre ass like expansion and then release something that's like everything people wanted.
And then, you know, there's the next one being announced that I had spoiled for me, but that's okay.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It'll still be really cool to like see the unveiling of it and see exactly what's in it.
I hope I can be like, wow, look how good this is, and not fucking people on fucking internet or fuck.
Again, like, I don't know. I distance myself from like spoilers a lot, so I can't really relate.
I just didn't know people would fucking do that kind of shit, man.
Of course they would.
Like,
of course they, dude. Ever since the 90s, people have been like going hardcore with spoiling games, leaking things.
Here's the thing with Blizzard spoilers, though. Like, either like half the spoilers are people having fucking pipe dreams, either being like, oh yeah, like this is definitely gonna happen, even though it's just them like being like, oh, Blizzard has bad writers, they're probably gonna make this person
them being
do that,
like
and this person
oh hey look,
their mustache.
Heroes of the Storm making a comeback, like that kind of thing.
Like,
where it's like, that's not gonna happen.
Like right now, do you remember the character Sylvanas?
Yes.
Basically, she's been like a little naughty recently, so people often compare her to the mustache twirling bad guy in like Sunday morning cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons.
Sunday morning cartoons. I was gonna say, okay.
I'm thinking of Sunday morning fucking prayer, dude.
I'm getting Jesus confused with my Garfield cartoons.
But yeah, so people are like, oh, like they're gonna have Sylvanas be like, I was actually doing the right thing the whole time because I'm actually a good guy. And it's like, no.
She's not gonna get a redemption arc. What are you talking about?
A redemption arc. She's always been evil. She's always only been a part of the Horde for her own benefit, not for the greater Horde. Like, it's not a new thing. Anyone who's played an undead knows this.
It's people who want to have their waifu, like, be good, so that nobody can hate them.
Half the spoilers are people just, like, giving Blizzard no credit and being like, oh, they're just shitty writers. The other half are, like, things that people can, like, already kind of put together based on like where the story's going, which is just good storytelling. You can be like, oh, I bet this is going to happen. And like you'll have people coming up with like fake logos for the next like expansion, people coming up with like you know, fake drawings of what the next expansion's like main continent's gonna look like. Things that like people can easily fake. Even like screenshots of in-game cinematics can easily be faked when you have like, there's a literal software called WoW Model Viewer that gives you every single item, character, and armor piece in the game at your disposal that you can pose in any kind of animation. You can even export the models to use in Maya in Blender to pose them like in their own way that you want them to be posed. So, like, you can't just take a screenshot and say, oh, Blizzard did this. No, anyone could have done it with a computer.
Yeah, and I mean...
So, like, most of the spoilers that you get are pretty much fake, and any of the real ones are drowned out by all of the fake ones anyway.
That's like, I don't know if you remember, but when Smash Bros. Brawl was, like, just about to be released, people would, like, quote-unquote, leak the full roster, and you just see, like, this huge screen of poorly photoshopped, like, Tails, Bomberman, like that kind of stuff. And like it was obviously fake, but there was definitely like that group of people who was just like, whoa. I mean, hell, when I was little, I was convinced that Tails was in the game as a playable character. And I would go on to forums and I'd talk to other people about like how to get him. And there were like some people who were like, yeah, I got him in my game, and they'd give like screenshots, and it would be obviously like a Sonic Adventure 2 model in like Smash, but that was enough for my little kid mind to be like, whoa.
Like, the last spoiler from Blizzard that I remember being, like, true or good. Actually, even on a side note, Blizzard has, like, a public test realm for World of Warcraft, so you can, like, try out the next patch before it fully releases. Even the content from that people will, like, data mine from the game's files, like, even that is subject to change. So people will be like, oh, the next expansion, like, we get to kill this guy. It's like, no, they could change that at any time.
Yeah. Like...
But, like, the worst spoiler that I remember, like, from Blizzard that was true was, like, years ago at this point when there was some kind of, like, video that Overwatch released where they, like, talked to people, like, at their desks and had, like, B-roll footage. And, like, in the background, you could see someone's screen who was, like, working on animations for a character that was going to be released, like, a couple months later.
Who was the
like,
character?
That's it. I don't even remember. It was just a blurry screen showing someone testing out a character's animations, and I don't even remember which one it was. It might have been, like, Orisa or something. But, like, that's it. It's a blurry picture. Like, that was it.
And honestly, like, a blurry image or, like, something in the background will always be enough for someone to be like, that's a new game, that's a new character, like, that kind of thing.
Actually, I'm a little wrong. I just remembered another little oopsie that Blizzard did. Where, during the Legion expansion, we were spoiled as to who the final, like, raid boss would be. Because they put... The final, like, raid boss was this big bad guy called Sargeras. And on the Blizzard store, they put up a shirt with Sargeras on it. And in the description, it said, like, the heroes of Azeroth fought back the Burning Legion. And we're like, I think I know what we're gonna do by the end of this.
Imagine if they had, like one of those t-shirts where it's like, I survived. They have that for...
Yeah.
At Disney, where it's like, I survived Expedition Everest.
I think it's a real shirt on the Blizzard store where it says, I survived the Hell Scream, which is the roller coaster in the background of Blizzard World.
Oh my
That's
God.
like an actual shirt you can get.
I love that. Dude, when will they, like, collaborate with, like, Universal to make their own theme park? Like,
For a second, I thought you were going to say, when are they going to collaborate to make a movie?
well, I mean, there is the one movie, but, like, I know a lot of people are hoping for, like, an animated film.
They kind of very low-key did. In this most recent WoW expansion, they've made a lot of their high-fidelity cinematics. And... like a couple weeks ago, I think, what they did was they basically took all of them and put them in chronological order. And it's like a full 30-minute high-fidelity video.
That's actually really cool, because, like, I know that if they were to make an animated film, I would hope that most of it would be animated in-house.
Yeah.
Because, like, the way that they approach animation at Blizzard, like, you look at any of the like cinematics that they've done for Warcraft, Starcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, like, you see the stamp of quality that they have for it. And
honestly,
they always have a really good eye for direction and for, like, camera movement.
Honestly, even, like, the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic from, like, literally 2007 is one of my favorite cinematics. It's not even like it was cheaply made or anything. Like, it has fur physics, it has hair physics, it has, like, you know, snow being pushed by someone's hand, has like the cracking of ice and the fracturing of light. Like, it's so good. It's not like they cheaped out with like, oh, it's just, leather, just, plain and simple. Like, no. There's like complex stuff in it that still holds up.
Yeah, and like, I remember, I don't know if Blizzard still does this, but like, I know that for a few of their expansions, and for at least like, I think one ad for Diablo, they had it on during like the Super Bowl as like one of the ads.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the coolest experiences for me, because I was sitting down watching like football with my family, and I don't know a goddamn thing about football. I know that people run and try to hug each other, and there's a ball somewhere in the middle. But like, when the ad came up for, I forget which Warcraft expansion it was, but there was this whole thing where like, I think it was like two like high profile members of the Horde were like over this pot of like the the glowing green evil. I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called.
Oh, yep. That was Demon's Blood.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, that cinematic was so good.
There was that, but even on top of that, as a very short, you know how they're like some commercials, they're like 15 seconds and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had one for that same expansion, Warlords, where it was literally just one of the main characters of the expansion in like this black space with a single spotlight on them, and it's just their face staring at you, like breathing heavily before like roaring, and it just says like World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor.
That's the thing that sucks, is that their cinematics are so fucking good, and then that expansion's shit. So like
honestly, you should put that video like in like the TV in the corner.
Yeah, right when you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's just like 15 seconds, and it's just staring at like the person watching it, and the animation is just so like clean and real. Like you get all of the like little like flexes and twitches of the skin, and like it's beautiful.
Blizzard's really good at making like these computer generated characters feel so alive.
Oh yeah. Like they do like motion capture for I'm pretty sure from what I remember in they did something, they talked about it at Blizzcon last year, and like they do motion capture for it, and then they do like animation like touch-ups later and simulations later, and that's why it like looks so good. Like I wouldn't give credit fully to the animators or to the actors, because it's like a collaboration, but like they definitely have a really good team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like they definitely have a solid group.
I personally wonder if they haven't made so many like Overwatch cinematics because they've been pumping out so many for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because like they used to release like a couple of those a year, but then the last like 2, it's just been like 1 at like BlizzCon.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand, especially if they are working on as many projects as people are speculating to.
Yeah.
Because first things first, Blizzard will always be a game studio.
Yeah.
So like, taking a backseat to the cinematics, like that's understandable, as long as they aren't like. My biggest fear is them outsourcing them and making it more like less genuine, because of like having that that sort of like lose of touch, because like there's a certain polish to it that Blizzard will put on it that a lot of other animation companies will skim over.
Yeah.
And like that's my big like fear.
Blizzard has their polish, and pretty recently, they've like hired a couple of different writers. One of them, Christy Golden, was someone who wrote like Warcraft books telling like story and stuff, then they're eventually like, hey, just like work for our story team. And
Yeah.
pretty much ever since like then, that was a pretty good like sign of when the story went like it went up to the next level. Like they've been doing so many creative things with the story, in my opinion. A lot of people criticize it, but like the acting in the storytelling is like phenomenal.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, as long as it's being told in an effective way, I feel like you can't really complain.
Like honestly, go onto YouTube, go to the World of Warcraft channel and watch the Varrock Sarfang's Makora video of like high fidelity cinematics. Like you can't tell me that like those are bad. Like even if everything else about Blizzard is bad, like those are so well done. In the storytelling, you get an idea of who the characters are, what they care for, what they're fighting for. Like they're beautiful.
Yeah. I guess kind of like, are you okay if we actually jump off of the topic? Because I feel like we've been talking about it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Halloween yet.
Yeah. And this is supposed to be the...
Ooh, spooky Anna. Put up a picture.
Well, I can't scream right now because it's like 12 a.m.
I didn't say scream. I said put up a picture, you dingus.
I'll put like a few pictures up and I'll put a scream in post. I'll probably just use the one from the Ethan episode.
You do that.
There's the gap for what we want to do it. But,
Anyway, what are you doing for Halloween?
Working. So, I will be working on Halloween, which kind of sucks, but like, it's fine because on the Saturday of this week, I'm going to be going to a Halloween party. It'll be cool. I'm dressing up as a big mistake. Did I tell you what my costume is?
No.
I'm going as an e-girl. And I have a jar that I'm going to have with just water in it that I'm going to attempt to sell to someone. I think the scariest part of this episode is the fact that I don't know how Jake feels right now. He probably left his room. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I can talk about now. Oh yeah, since it is Halloween, I can actually tell a little bit of a spooky story. So, when I was little, the first time that I moved to Amherst, like, I was like 3 or 4, and I was a little confused about the town and like how things were. Jake? Is Jake back? I heard a shuffle.
Now you're going to tell me what you are for Halloween, and if you say what you said last time, I will leave.
Jake! Come on! I already bought the wig. We can't go back.
I had to take a lap, dude.
And I love how you come back, because I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to tell a spooky story about my childhood.
What is it?
Oh, well, as I already said for the audience, but I'll start it again for you. When I moved to Amherst, I was like 3 or 4, and we live in a pretty big house, like my family. So like I sleep on the second floor. My older sister like slept in the room across from me with my little sister, and then my mom and dad were down the hallway, and then we had the downstairs floor and then the upstairs, which was just an attic at the point that like we moved in at. So like I remember it's like super late at night. I think it was like 1 a.m. and I wake up because I'm a pretty restless sleeper, and I still fucking remember this because it freaked me out so much. But like I think it was my first experience with like sleep paralysis or something, because I like wasn't able to get out of my bed. I wasn't able to move. I just look in the corner of my room and I just see some lady that's just standing there, with like super long hair and like a red dress, and she's just sitting in the corner. And I look over and I try to say something, but like, you know, with sleep paralysis, you're just like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then like she just started walking over and like leaned over me while I was like lying in bed, and her hair was like draping down, and I felt it touch my face. Like I felt it. I swear I did. And that freaked me out so much. Like I was terrified to the point where like I ended up actually like somehow falling back asleep, and then when I woke up it was like a few minutes later, and I just ran to my mom's room and screamed, because like that was around the time too where my older sister was super into like ghost stories and stuff like that, and she would tell them to me because she knew that I couldn't handle it. Like I'm a lot better when it comes to horror now. I used to fucking hate it. Like, do you remember those graphic novels for the series Bone?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be fucking terrified of the covers of those because I thought that they were dead people, to the point where my mom had to take all of my older sister's copies of Bone. Like and that wasn't even horror. I just was terrified of everything. Nowadays it's like I can watch like Midsommar or like any kind of horror film and be unfazed. Like there will be stuff that like I'm uncomfortable with, like the sound of breaking bones in anything will always make me feel queasy. Like, have you actually been able to see Midsommar?
No, so don't talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's one part in that almost made me vomit because I can't handle breaking bones.
I could tell my spooky story.
Yeah, go for it.
After breaking bones are like a bad thing for me too. You've played Wolf Among Us, right?
Yes.
The scene with Bigby's broken arm.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like I legit. It wasn't like dry heaving, but I was definitely like hyperventilating after that. Because it is fucking disgusting.
Like, I remember when I first played the game, like, I stopped. I didn't play past that.
Like, I remember I was like hyperventilating, and it was the kind where like my fingers started to like tingle because of just like the fucking like lack of air.
Yeah, because it was just like I understand, like, bones can break. They aren't invincible or whatever. Hell, I've gotten like concussions before where like part of my skull would be like cracked a little, and like I actually broke my wrist before, like that kind of stuff. But like literally, like the sounds of like someone snapping their arm or popping their leg, like that's just ugh. One of the worst videos I've ever seen online was this video of a gymnastics tournament where a guy was doing a flip and he landed on the mat and his foot like slipped, and like is it called a fibula? Is that the part where it's like the
there's the fibula and then there's the tibia.
Well, that's for your arm, right?
Aren't they both your arm?
Well, yeah, both those are for your arm. So like, what's the leg? I know
on,
that
the leg. There's the femur.
Because
wait,
it's like
no. There's the radius and the ulna.
Well, wait, where's the femur?
The femur?
Yeah.
That's like the big bone in like your thigh.
Okay, what's the lower? You just said the lower ones, the ulta, whatever.
Ultimatum. Let's see. There's the skull. There's the spine. There's the chest.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna have a little chart out where you're just going to be like, the head bone's connected to the neck bone. The head's connected to the knee bone. We're just a fucking pogo stick. That's our species.
Okay. So the thigh bone is the femur. There's the kneecap, which is the patella. The shin bone is the tibia.
Okay.
And the fibula is unlabeled, so it's not the shin one.
Okay, so what I'm trying to explain is that this guy, he did like a flip and he lands on the mat and his foot slips and the tibia just juts out of his skin. Just pokes right through. And he gets up like it's the normal shit and resets his foot.
I'm looking at all these bones
freaky.
now. I'm looking at all these bones now, and I'm forgetting about... I forgot about the method I used to help remember some of them.
Oh, you want to do
Like,
that for the audience to see if you can help them?
Like, for any of you taking middle school science, there's like those tiny bones. They're in like your wrist and your like ankle area-ish. The carpals and the tarsals, and the metacarpals and the metatarsals.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I remembered which is for the hands and which is for the feet is the carpals are in your hands because you use them to drive a car, and the tarsals are in your feet because you use them to walk on tar.
That is helpful, but also sounds so lame at the same
carpals,
exact time.
You want to make it even lamer?
What?
The carpals works with the spelling because they are literally car pals.
Oh my god.
You want to hear my creepy story now? I never got to that.
Yeah, no, go for it. Because as much as I love learning about skeletons, like
it's very short. But I found it creepy. Where so my family went to eat at Papa Joe's. We've talked about that before. The burger and fry place.
Yeah, very good, very good.
And it was pretty busy. Like, there's a fair amount of people that go in and out of there regularly. So like,
is it seasonal?
I don't remember, but
I hope it's not.
We were eating there like one of the days before I went back to college, and we weren't really like paying attention to the people there because, like, again, people were coming and going. And we sat down at one of these picnic tables outside that the place has, and there was another family at the table next to us. They'd been there before we got there. My family had ordered. We'd even gotten our food at this point, and we were eating. And that family that was sitting next to us gets up and leaves. And the dad of the family looks over at like our table and smiles and looks at me and says, "Hey, Jake." And I have no idea who that person was.
What?
Someone like walked past us. They didn't walk up to us. They didn't like greet us. They walked by with the dad saying, "Hey, Jake," and went to the car.
Could it have been like a teacher from Mount Vernon, or like?
No. I remember every teacher I've ever had. I even remember the teachers I didn't have. So it wasn't from school. I thought about that. I don't know. They weren't from Scouts. They weren't neighbors. I was a Boy Scout, by the way. They weren't from Scouts. They weren't from Mount Vernon. We would have known that. If they were from Mount Vernon, my parents probably would have recognized them, or my brother, but no one else did. No one even noticed them, and I had to point out that they had said, "Hey, Jake," to me.
What if, and like, this might sound stupid, what if it was someone who just like saw one of the videos that we made in high school or something that you made in college, and like recognized you from that?
You think the dad would have recognized me?
I don't know.
Like, if it was the son that like looked to be about my age, like, our age range, then sure, like, I could have understood like that even. But the fact that it was the dad and no one else in their family spoke up, and no one else like looked, no one else like acknowledged anything, just a simple walk by saying, "Hey, Jake," just completely threw me for a loop.
Dude, what if he was the guy that gave you the pants and the coffee?
if it was, then fucking send me more coffee, dude.
Oh my god. Imagine if that was it. Imagine if that's legitimately, like, that was the answer.
I don't know. That would be...
Now you have a face to the pants and the coffee. It's like...
Man, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Like, what if he was like, I know that this guy is going to be at this burger place with his family. I'm going to go and intervene and get my, like, face in his face.
You know what? If that's the guy, and you're listening to this, and you were able to somehow find me and know where I was going for dinner, and know what I looked like based off of Korey's Microsoft Paint drawings,
You're welcome.
and know that I have glasses when I actually don't have them in the picture, then, you know what? Hats off to you.
Jeez. Oh my god. Can I tell my stalker story?
Sure.
Okay, this will probably be the last thing for the episode unless there's another story you want to tell, but it's for spooky stuff. Because spooky season.
Sure.
But, so, back when I was in, like, just going into high school, I did like this summer sort of theater production type thing with this group called Peacock Players, and I don't know if I've talked about them before on the podcast, but they're pretty cool. It was like a summer camp type thing. I was like one of the older kids where it's like, you know, the last year you can be like a student in the club or like the like summer thing without becoming a like camp counselor yourself. But like I was in it, and there was this girl who was pretty cool. Like, I'm not going to name names. I'm going to use, like... Should I just use, like, a fake name? Just to, like, make it easier to, like, talk about it?
Delilah.
Okay, so there's this girl, Delilah. And we became friends. I was a little bit difficult when it came to talking to, like, people during that club, because that was back in my prime phase of I'm convinced nobody wants to be friends with me. And so, like, I slowly opened up to her and the rest of the group, and it turned out to be, like, a pretty good time. Like, the 2 weeks that we were practicing the play and doing stuff, we were doing Treasure Island. The 2 weeks were great, and I learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun, and it really helped with, like, building some confidence back then. But throughout, like, the 2 weeks, I kept on getting told, hey, you know, Delilah definitely has a crush on you, right? And that kind of thing, and me just be like, no, nobody can love me. So basically, nothing's changed.
How can anyone love me if I don't love me?
For me, no, my mentality was, cool, I'm awful, and then I just walk away.
Hey, you know this person totally loves you. No, they wouldn't be wrong like that.
But, like, we literally, like, we were talking back and forth for the longest time, and then slowly she became kind of, like, weirdly obsessive or, like, protective of me. Like, if I was out, like, having lunch with a group of other people, she'd always find a way to butt in or, like, pull me away from the group to just talk to me. Or, like, during practice, she wouldn't let anyone else practice their lines with me unless she was there. And that kind of thing. And I was like, whatever, like, I guess friends act like this. So things were going fine, and then there was one day where we had, like, sort of a separate closet kind of area where all the props were kept, and I was told, like, hey, like, go grab a thing for the props. And I run up, and the prop closet, it wasn't really a closet, it was more of like a separate classroom, because most of the club was actually held at NCC, and then we moved to the actual theater for, like, the last 2 days. Mm-hmm. But it was one of the classrooms, and they just kind of threw a bunch of the supplies and stuff in there. And so I run in, and I go to grab the stuff, and then I notice, like, you know those little candles where you can turn them on with batteries and it's, like, not fire? Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of those set up in a circle, and in the center was a single picture of myself that I don't remember having been taken. I was obviously freaked out, but I didn't really mind, and I just like, whatever, I'm just going to turn off the light, like the candles, because we need that for the tavern scene. And then we get back, and like, everyone's just like, okay, cool, you got the props, and fucking Delilah, because that's the name we chose, she's standing in the corner, and she's just staring straight at me. And I like, after I talk to the group, she runs over, she's like, did you see it? I'm like, see what? She goes, oh, never mind. And then after that, like, we had our performance, and the performance went fine. But at the very end of it, she was just like, hey, Korey, there's something important I want to talk to you about. I was like, I'm kind of in a hurry, I gotta switch out of these clothes, we have to get, my family wants to get dinner, I can't really stick around. She's like, oh, okay. And so I get changed, and as I'm running over to try to find my family, she just goes, wait, Korey, I like you. And I respond with, cool. And I run to my family, and we go and get dinner. Now, you'd think this would be the end of it, because, like, for most clubs, like most, like, summer type things, you don't really see the people that you go to them with, like, past that, you know? Like it usually just kind of stays in that contained group. Throughout the rest of the summer, I kept seeing this girl at random places that I would know for a fact that she would never go to because she lives up in northern New Hampshire. Like, I was at Hampton for like a week, for like a few days with my family, and she was there somehow at the same exact time for the same exact span of time and tried to find every little moment to hang out with me. And then, like, apparently when I went out for ice cream with my family, as we pulled out, like, I saw her getting out of a car and looking around. And pretty much since then, I've been absolutely terrified that this girl, Delilah, which is not her name, because I don't want to say her name, because if she is listening to this, don't want any gratification, but like,
leave a comment down below if you're watching.
No, I don't need that. I really don't, because it's honestly freaked me the fuck out for a long time.
No,
and like, I haven't crossed paths with them in months, so like, I would prefer to keep it that way. So if you're stalking me from a distance, cool. Like, you fucking do whatever the hell you want with the pictures that I post on Instagram. I don't care. Just like, don't fucking follow me.
What I'm hearing is she made a summoning circle in the closet and it worked.
Oh my god, Jake.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't want to be summoned. I don't want.
Well, you were.
Dude,
you
it's just
in the
fucking
closet,
creepy.
You went to the closet and saw it.
Literally, Jake, imagine like having just that overlumin, just sort of like fear of someone watching your every move, and then there's a chance that they're watching your every move. Like, as I'm explaining all this, I hope you know there's a window that I'm constantly glancing at, because like, there's still that part of me that's really scared that someday I'm just going to be at home and I hear a knock at the door or someone rings the doorbell and I go to check the Ring app that we have, because we have those fancy like Ring things, and I just see her on the camera. Like, I'm scared. I don't want this bitch to turn my skin into a coat.
Oh, so it's like when I went to the Hidden Valley Scout Camp.
What?
So that's today's episode of...
No, what is that? What are you talking about, Jake?
That's a story for another time.
No, story for now. Halloween episode. Creepy, spooky.
You want to make it a story for now?
I'm editing this, of course.
No.
What? You don't just tease that shit.
I think I just did.
Motherfucker, we're gonna forget about it too. You know that we are.
No, we won't.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know. But hey, look, regardless, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed Halloween, because this is definitely going up after. But like, this is going to be
Yeah.
like a belated special type thing. I hope you had fun. If you're one of those people that played Christmas music in November, don't talk to me. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much how I feel about
Don't eat
holidays.
razor blades.
Wait, what?
Don't eat razor blades.
That's just solid advice all around.
Yeah.
Anyways,
If you find them in your candy, don't feed it to your family.
feed it to your enemies.
Don't serve it to your family. He'll rape you.
Oh my god. Throw it back in the water.
Throw it back in the water.
I'm not gonna feed you my family. Oh my god. I won't put that clip in right at the end. Anyways, have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Pixel Venture Podcast. My name's Korey.
And I've been spoiled.
And we'll see you next week. And maybe Jake will remember to mention his name.
Hmm?
Yeah.
See?